Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network, as much as Tuesday can be happy. I'm Rob Adams, Donald Eng to my left. Looking forward to today's show. We've got Rob Baird joining us, the Assistant General Manager of the Stratford Breakettes, and a fellow broadcaster as well, so we'll chat with him in a couple of minutes. Again, it just has that feeling, Don, of kind of a potpourri week where we're kind of grabbing some things off the buffet table as we shift from high school into kind of the summer, and you kind of make it up as you go along in this kind of time of year.
Yeah, the summer sports kind of getting underway now. I'm not sure we'll be talking too much golf or yachting, but there's always the options out there to keep us busy.
Depending on Andrew Mitchell's choice of shorts, I think yachting could very much be an offing. I'm just saying, it's there for us.
I would have gone with the shoes, but
Well, there is that too. Andrew with his super wardrobe, one of our super interns here on the HAN Network. So anyway, happy to have you along, and again, we'll look forward to talking with Rob Baird. They're coming off the unthinkable. There was actually a loss for that team.
Right, you have to figure manager John Stratton is on the hot seat right now, 12-1 coming off. Three-time defending national champions, yes, I understand, but with a record of 12-1, with that kind of slow start, I don't know if he can survive.
I don't think so either. Among the things I want to get to today, because we haven't done it yet, and I realize this is a little bit old, but worth talking about some of the people who were drafted around this area, considering we're going to be doing Breakette softball in a couple of minutes, switch over to the baseball diamond and chat about some of the local people who got drafted by the major leagues in recent times. And, it's always cool. We've seen it done. Andrew and I can both talk of a Greenwich guy pretty well that we both know. So they're in Taylor Olmsted, who was drafted, out of Greenwich High School, elected to go to college instead, and is playing in upstate New York right now. What I'm saying is, it's very cool when it happens, and there are actually 11 players around Connecticut who were drafted just recently.
Right, yeah, it really is exciting because you get to see them kind of grow up in baseball, and obviously, of the 11 that are drafted, it's really, for anyone that gets drafted, it's a long way to the major leagues. You've got various levels of the minors, but that's kind of that was always my thing. It was fun to be a baseball fan in like the late '80s. You would get the sporting news, you would read, check up on the minor leagues, see who's coming through the system for your favorite team. In my case, it was the New York Mets, and you know who these kids are when they make their debut. You kind of feel like you've been along with them for the ride.
Yeah, absolutely true. I couldn't agree more. And coming out of Greenwich, you've got for instance, you've got Brandon Bonilla, who as a left-handed pitcher was drafted by the Orioles in the 13th round with the 391st overall pick. Got good form right there in that picture, the son of Bobby Bonilla.
He looks like his father too, doesn't he?
He does look like his father.
I saw his father opening day of the 1987 season. Bobby Bonilla hit a ball off the second facade at Shea Stadium. It was opening day. I was there. It wasn't off of Dwight Gooden. Gooden was out of the game by that point. And I just remember Bob Murphy's call. He just said, "Bonilla swings, and forget about it," was what he said.
I can tell you a Bobby Bonilla story that doesn't apply in this regard. It applies to his post-career, being at Greenwich High School for one of the GYFL football games. And, of course, all these high schools are non-smoking facilities. When the smell of a very nice cigar wafts up into the press box, and sure enough, Bobby Bo. Wasn't going to tell him that it's a no-smoking facility. Some of the others who have been drafted, Aaron Saval of East Windsor came out of Loomis Chaffee. The right-handed pitcher drafted in the 3rd round. That's the 92nd pick, so he goes to the Indians. We'll also switch over to Matt Albanese from East Haddam out of Xavier High School. The outfielder in the 7th round was taken by the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, Matt Cleveland also drafted by the New York Mets out of Windsor High School, the right-handed pitcher, 12th round, 370th overall. The aforementioned Brandon Bonilla. Also, Willie Rios out of St. Bernard High School of Waterford, a left-handed pitcher taken in the 16th round, 481st overall by the Orioles.
Then we have Matt Blandino from Bristol Central, played at Tunxus Community College and then Central Connecticut State, a right-handed pitcher taken in the 19th round by Josh Fisher's Cincinnati Reds. Manny Cruz of Wolcott High School, a shortstop taken in the 23rd round by the Cincinnati Reds. And last but not least, and a guy we saw right here on the HAN Network, which makes it even more cool. And there's the shot, his first pitch from opening day. I believe it was April 2nd of this year. You can see how new that turf looks at Nathan Hale Middle School. That is Mike Gonzalez, the right-handed pitcher from the Norwalk Bears, drafted in the 24th round by the Milwaukee Brewers, or, of course, as Alice Cooper were to say, Milwaukee.
And you know, the amazing thing about being drafted into baseball, you know, first of all, these kids, they're going to go through, you know, you have rookie league, then you have short season, then you have Class A Advanced, Double A, Triple A. It's not like the NBA or the NFL when you get drafted and the next step is you know, the major leagues. In this case, like something like 6 or 7 more layers of minor league baseball to get through, all of whom at an extremely competitive level. So, but you know what? They get a chance. They get a chance to go out, play some baseball for the summer, you know, make a little bit of money, and chase the dream.
And quite often, you know, again, dumb luck, I've had the chance to be with a short season minor league team, much like the Connecticut Tigers, this one up in Fishkill, New York. And I remember the stories of Evan Longoria showing up, basically hitting a ball to Wappingers Falls and them saying, okay, up to the next level you go. He was there a week, almost literally a week. He was gone that quickly. So sometimes you do get the guy that moves up the ladder quickly, and Longoria really did move fairly quickly and now has settled into a very nice, albeit often injury-prone major league career. Right.
The only real contact I ever had was with Todd Helton. He played with the old New Haven Ravens the year I bought season tickets there because I was living just a couple of blocks away. And you know, he wasn't playing in Colorado then. He was playing in New Haven at sea level, so he didn't really have the home run power that he developed in the major league career. But I used to fear for the safety of the infielders, of the corner infielders when he was at bat, because he would hit line drives about 8 feet off the ground that would almost reach the warning track.
So congratulations to all of these players who have been drafted by Major League Baseball. With the NBA draft coming up later this week, it seemed like a good time to spend a moment on it.
Sure, you know, it's like you like to see these local people, local folks, and then just follow them through their career, however far their career goes, however long they play. You know, if you want to be a lifelong fan of someone and say, oh, you know what, if you want to be able to tell the story 20 years from now of I remember when that happened, well, this is when it's happening.
And there are still guys chasing that dream, whether it's a Taylor Olmstead, who we alluded to, out of Greenwich High School, or L.J. Mazzilli, who played also at Greenwich and now is doing very well. He's at Double A at Binghamton with the B-Mets right now, playing good baseball there also. He's already had a hint of a cup of coffee with the big team in spring training, for that matter. And granted, there's no doubt having a name gives you at least a little bit of a nudge, a little bit. Now, but at the end of the day, talent wins out. So for Brandon Mania, he's got to have the talent. For A.J. Mazzilli, he's got to have the talent. At that point, it doesn't matter who their parents are.
Right, and that's also the amazing thing about the Major League Draft is the duration. 24th round, 711th overall pick, and plus you know, in this case that was Michael Gonzalez. But in the baseball draft, essentially is an open draft. As long as the team wants to keep picking, they can keep going.
They will keep going, and they will do that very thing. Why don't we take a break here on Nutmeg Sports? We've got to shift gears and talk softball. We will do so with Rob Baird, the assistant GM of the Stratford Breakettes. We'll do that right after this on Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network.
It's time to come back to hometown banking, where people are taken into account, not just balances. Where community comes first. A place where there's more than one kind of interest. Where automation will never replace consideration. Where they not only know your name, they know your dog's name too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well.
For more than 50 years, Triple S has been Fairfield County's expert service for carpet, upholstery, and drapery cleaning. We provide the best in repairs and in-depth restoration, understanding fabrics and how to properly clean and restore them. Our staff will come to your home to clean your wall-to-wall carpet to perfection. We can also pick up your fine carpets and bring them to our facilities. With locations in Norwalk, Stamford, and Stratford, Triple S will get the job done fast, big or small. At Triple S, you can count on our people as well as our cleaning.
Find us at triplesclean.com or 203-847-8000.
Have a sports injury or a slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast, without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, open Monday through Saturday, now in 2 locations. the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, and 36 Old Kings Highway South in Darien. Or go to coastalorthoexpress.com, like them on Facebook.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the feel of a home as opposed to a condo. My property taxes on my single-family home were close to $20,000 a year. Now that I've downsized and I'm in a townhome, and because of the condo tax laws, my fees have gone from $20,000 down to about $5,300 with the star exemption. There is no other townhome that compares in the area. This is where I want to be.
I'm Kate Chaplinsky. Join us for Coffee Break, weekdays at 11 to get the latest Connecticut news, weather, high school sports, and more. News doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break on the HAN Network.
Welcome back to Nutmeg Sports on the HAN Network, Tuesday edition with Donald Eng. I'm Rob Adams. Glad you decided to join us for this edition of the program. And all right, we've done some baseball talk. Now let's do some softball talk.
Sounds good to me. I'm a Stratford native. Always excited to talk about Stratford's team there. And we're glad to be joined by Rob Baird, Assistant General Manager of the Stratford Brakettes. Rob, welcome.
Oh, thanks. Great to be with you, Rob and Don.
Great to talk with you, Rob. And you've been with the team a couple of years now. First of all, from an assistant GM position, tell us what the role. What do you do as an assistant GM when you're with the Brakettes?
Well, my father, Bob Baird, has actually been the GM now for 29 plus years. So, as far as it pertains to being the assistant GM, it's a lot of helping him do the different things that he has to achieve, from scheduling in the preseason to arranging clinics and game day operations and all the other things. But my main thrust is to be the media director. So as far as being the assistant to the GM, it's really that. I am an assistant to the GM, but my role is mostly as the media director to run our video webcast.
And of course, you're still the play-by-play voice, right?
That's right, yeah. So we've done it for 11 years now. And we have a whole variety of Connecticut School of Broadcasting interns that have come through our program over the last decade, and we've got 4 new students this year, and they're doing a great job.
And full disclosure, I have been teaching at Connecticut School of Broadcasting in the Stratford campus since, I think, 2005. I'm a grad as well, so I'm a guilty party, Rob.
Oh, that's great. I'm right there with you.
Yep.
Hey, Rob, what would you say is the biggest challenge facing, the management of a team like the Brakettes? Is it scheduling, getting players? It seems like it's a much bigger operation than you might think just from looking at it.
Right. Well, let me start by what the easiest thing is to do, and that is to attract the softball players. Through the years, it's been great because we've been successful from the early days, and that's continued on. We've had great management. We've had a great manager over the last 15, 20 years in John Stratton, and so we've been very thankful there because some of the players that he coached back in the day, such as Joan Joyce and many others, have gone on to become very successful Division I softball coaches. So they send us players that they want to have some extra run in the summers. It makes it very easy for us. That said, what's the toughest is probably scheduling quality teams, trying to make sure that they all can play around each other. We actually sometimes have to organize games for a second, third, and even fourth team to play amongst themselves so that we can schedule maybe the other teams at a different date. Just because it's very difficult to arrange for the girls' schedules on our own teams, much less for these others. So scheduling is exceptionally difficult. And fundraising. The other big thing is fundraising. We're a not-for-profit, and we don't make nearly as much money at the gate and at the concession stand and souvenir stand as people would think we might. And every year we rely on private donations and sponsorships to be able to just break even.
John Stratton was on our show about a year ago, in fact, and I'm a little concerned, Rob, because as I glanced down at the schedule, I did see there was a loss on the schedule just recently. Is Coach Stratton's job safe still?
Yeah, I would think so. They had won 38 straight before Saturday night's game, and even the game they lost, they had played that same team 3 times already over the course of the weekend, winning 5-2, 8-2, and even the same night 11-3. But when they lose 1-0, everyone goes, "Oh no, the Brakettes lost."
That's right. Yeah, we were concerned for Coach Stratton's job security. Good to know he's getting the vote of confidence from the assistant general manager.
He can do whatever he wants. He's been here forever, and his wife Mickey Stratton was the very first Brakette inducted into the National ASA Hall of Fame. She's one of the all-time greats. She caught Joan Joyce and Bertha Ticky and some of the great pitchers of all time. And so, yeah, I'd say he's safe, and they're just a huge part of our family.
You know, Don, speaking of some of the Briquette greats through the year, I'm looking down at your website here, and I see July 8th through 10th Alumni Weekend. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, that's great. So we had a 65th year reunion weekend 5 years ago in 2011. Great reception, a lot of Briquettes from all walks of life, all years of play came back to DeLuca Field in Stratford, Connecticut, and were able to hang out with us, watch games, take part in an old-timers game, although abbreviated, and they didn't really like the term old-timers, but they joked about it. And it was really just a great experience to have all of these Briquettes come back and see each other, and it was amazing. We had players from the 1947 team, and we had players that had just retired the year before that came back. So we had players that played in 47 and players that played in 2010 come back. And this year, 5 years later, we're doing the 70th year. So we started in 1947 as the Ray Bestas Girls All-Stars, and the Briquettes, that was just a name, a feminized version of the brake liners that Ray Bestas manufactured. So they made brakes, so they called them the Briquettes. And so starting in 1948, we were officially known as the Briquettes, and going forward, that's the case. But we've been around 70 years, and our history is huge to us, and we're hoping to have another big turnout. We have the New York City Havoc, last year's national runner-ups. They are coming back to be the team that will play against that weekend. There is, again, a home run derby, and the don't call it an old-timers game, and we're going to have a great time. We're really looking forward to it.
And it's a beautiful facility there. DeLuca Field, I had a chance to work two of the semifinal games in the CIAC on radio, and just a really nice place to come out and watch a couple of ball games.
Yeah, we like it down there, and it truly is one of the top venues when it's dry. Obviously, we're close to the Housatonic River, the Great Meadows Marsh, and then there's also a small brackish pond less than a half a mile away. So we're surrounded by water. So when it rains, it's difficult, but when it doesn't rain, it is absolutely the best facility in the state of Connecticut, and that's why the state championships have been held there for more than a decade now.
That's really cool. A couple of things for you from your bio I was curious about. One of them being, what was it like working with Mike and the Mad Dog?
Well, that was cool. That was my very first job after I went to the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. So I was just, that intern that would have to commute down to the city, down to New York, and do what I had to do, and work 3 different shifts per week, one of which I was lucky enough to have on Thursday afternoon with Mike and the Mad Dog. And they would put us in the newsroom, and they would ask us any sort of random question. Look up the 1964 National Championship game. Was it played on Sunday or Monday? We need to know the year that they changed the National Championship game format from Sunday to Monday. When did it go back? When, and that type of stuff. It would be very specific questioning. And we actually, in 2006, still had like almanacs and sports encyclopedias on the walls. Yes, we had computers in front of us, but not everything was available at the touch of our fingertips. So we actually had to look up in these very old encyclopedias, and sometimes we would find answers in sports yearbooks from the 60s and 70s and look up old things, just, totally out there stats for Mike and the Mad Dog. That was very cool. I got to meet 2 great broadcasters, and I learned a lot from them. So that was a lot of fun.
And last kind of off-the-wall question, you also worked for the Dan Patrick Show for a while. He's famous for the whole crew. All the Danettes have nicknames. Did you have a nickname?
Yeah, they called me Softball Sally.
Wow.
At first they called me Sidewinder because they saw a video of a girl throwing fast pitch underhand, and they're like, oh, yeah, there you are sidewinding, and I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. But because I did the broadcasting with the Briquettes throughout my time with the Dan Patrick Show, they jokingly called me Softball Sally off the air, and then a couple times on air, too, when they were referring to me in the third person. But yeah, that was a great experience. Those guys are great. All of the Danettes, a bunch of professionals. Those guys really know what they're doing, and I think that they've changed the way that all of the other networks are now having their daytime talk shows. It's more of a laid-back look. They got a pool table in the background. They've got wood paneling and couches, and you get to see sort of behind the scenes what's going on the other side of the glass. And it's less, old-fashioned and sterile, and we've even seen ESPN and all of these other different news networks now following suit, and I really think that the Dan Patrick Show is the first one to do that softened studio touch and make it look more of like a man cave.
Yeah, no, they do a great job. Hey, we'll have you back on again. This was great stuff, and we look forward to doing some more with the Breakettes here on the program.
Oh, that'd be great. Thanks, Don. Thanks, Rob. We'll talk to you soon.
Our pleasure. Thanks, Rob. That is Rob Baird, the media director as well as the assistant general manager for the Stratford Breakettes. We'll take a break on Nutmeg Sports. Don and I come back right after this on the HAN Network. Keep your future star active and happy this summer at Future Stars Sports Academy camps and clinics. The Academy is offering sessions throughout Fairfield County. Sign up for a week of basketball, cheerleading, football, or a multi-sports camp. At Future Stars Academy, children learn the fundamentals while under the supervision of qualified coaches. And what sets the Academy apart is its special Lessons of Life sessions, teaching values and focusing on building self-esteem, friendships, and honesty. Located at Sports Center Connecticut in Shelton and in Sports in Trumbull. Register online at FutureStarsSportsAcademy.com.
Warm weather, light breezes, boats are in the water. There's no better place to celebrate summer than the Dock Shop. Whether in Darien at 51 Tokenique Road or Westport at 609 Riverside Avenue, the Dock Shop is where you'll find everything you need to kick off summer. From the latest summer apparel to the newest fishing tackle, the Dock Shop will help you get the most out of your next beach day or harbor cruise. At the Dock Shop, you'll find a wonderful selection of items made in the USA and right here in New England, all with a distinct nautical flair. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the coastal lifestyle, this is a unique place to shop. DockShop.com.
Walter Stewart's Market in New Canaan is your time-saving local shopping destination for the best of spring. Find many of your favorite products, from great specials on everyday items to the freshest organic produce, artisanal cheeses, and grass-fed steaks. Drop off your knives to be sharpened, grab a beautiful bouquet of spring flowers, and stop in next door for a wine tasting. Plus, their personable staff is always ready to lend a helping hand. So stop in to Walter Stewart's Market, 229 Elm Street today, or shop online at stewartsmarket.com.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN Network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
Welcome back to Nutmeg Sports here on the HAN Network. By the way, total fail on my part. I forgot to send the selfie we took on coffee break over to Eric Gendron so he could run it here on this show so everyone could see the beauty of National Selfie Day as it took place live on our airwaves earlier today.
It was an experience. It was one of those. It was one of those broadcasts. Like it's going to go down in history. I don't know if it's going to be like broadcast history, like the Hindenburg, or who knows. But it definitely will be part of the HAN lore. Hey, by the way, Rob. So the other Rob was talking about
Yes.
Breakettes history. 28 national championships in 61 seasons of ASA competition, and since 2008, they've since won 4 more. So when you talk dynasty, that's tough to beat.
I mean, it is really remarkable. I've heard so many great things about the Breakettes and what they do. You can't help but just admire it.
It's just a dedication to excellence like you just don't really see, particularly in amateur sports. I mean, these are people that are coming in. They're kind of they're just essentially donating their time just kind of because they love the sport. And it's just really neat to have something like that in your backyard.
We're going to switch gears here to finish up the show. What has really become this has become a hotbed for track and field also, and it doesn't get quite the attention that it probably deserves. Of course, our colleagues here at the HAN Network, everyone did a great job on that FCAC track championship back to end the winter season. But That being said, it doesn't get probably the attention it deserves, considering we do have some really top-notch track and field athletes around here.
We do, particularly out of Ridgefield High School, with a couple of students there doing great at the New Balance Track Nationals. I guess that was down in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Yep, competing and reading from Tim Murphy on the RidgefieldPress.com. Competing as the Ridgefield Track Club, Ian McCool, Jeff Storm, Ken Day, and Gabe Altop combined to finish first in the boys' distance medley relay on Sunday at the aforementioned New Balance Nationals outdoor meet in Greensboro, North Carolina. They registered a time of 10:02:34 to beat runner-up York Track Club by nearly 1 second. Running the 1,600-meter anchor leg, Altop had a brisk metric mile time of 4:06:78 to secure the victory.
Right, now I'm assuming because it was 4 runners finishing in just over 10 minutes, and one of the runners ran a 4-minute leg. I'm guessing that medley relay means like the middle distance relays, like they didn't all run the same distance. So kind of a neat format that have four runners, 4 different distances. Best time wins.
Yeah, and you know, Gabe Altop, who we had in the picture that was up a moment ago, he'd be the one on the left. He's been one of those track and field athletes that we've talked about in terms of, and there he is there on the left, as we said, Ian McCool, Ken Day, and Jeff Storm are the other 3. But, you know, Eric Vanderels and Hannah DeBalsey, and those are some of the bigger names you hear in track and field around this area. Jada Harris from St. Joseph comes to mind. Again, all just really remarkable athletes. And please excuse me if I'm forgetting somebody, but the point being, there are some really remarkable track and fielders around here.
There are. In fact, there's some more out of Ridgefield. Some of the other members of the team competed. The competition was actually on the campus of North Carolina A&T University. Anna Landler, Ava Kelly, Julia Gardenrother, and Katie Jasminski in the 4x800 relay. Iga Williamson, Victoria Nasworth, Josephine Simon, and Alex Dameron in the girls 800 sprint medley relay. Jack Weston competing in the javelin throw. So a lot of local competition, really. Just kind of getting a taste of national experience.
No, it's really great to see, and you know, some of these athletes are going to continue to do it beyond here. We even think back to Armstrong Newton, who came out of Darien, did such a great job with us on the cross country broadcast, but is a spectacular athlete. He was with us on the broadcast because he was injured at the time, but since doing much better. So I thought it was worthwhile to spend a couple of minutes, and credit to Andrew Mitchell for pointing that one out.
Yeah, no, it was a great job, and a great job by these athletes to get down to North Carolina and just test yourself against some really elite competition.
One thing we want to remind you, of course, is to vote for the HAN Network FCAC Athlete of the Week. It is our final competition for the school year as we get through the final weeks of the state playoffs and all that stuff through the championships. So that is online at HAN.network.
I'm just laughing to myself because I've been saying for 10 weeks now that voting closes at 15 minutes after midnight, and I've been saying, don't vote then. You've got school tomorrow. School's out. Vote right up until the last second.
Unless you're my son. My son still has school in New York, by the way.
Really?
He does.
That's a travesty.
I know. He starts. He gets to start later. He has to end later. There is a downside to all of this, Don, and it's just the way it goes.
All right. So you need to be in bed. Everyone else can vote late.
But this is the final week for him. He is out later this week. But so again, get out there, get voting, get to all that, and if you have trouble finding it by any chance, let us know. We'll let you know how to get to it. So. Great stuff with Rob Baird today. That was fun.
Great, yeah, and I wasn't aware until just a little while ago that his broadcasting history and some of the work he's been doing. Probably, I had a question for Mike and the Mad Dog that he looked up how many years ago?
That's probably true. They are so Mike and the Mad Dog. We haven't talked to a dog in a while. That's always a fun interview. So, in any event, we begin to wrap up this program. We are back with you tomorrow. At least I think I will be. I'm not sure about you.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, actually, looking at the to-do list, but we'll see what happens.
We're going to try to drag Dave Stewart back up here. We haven't seen Dave in a while anyway, and we still want to have Danny Melzer on, and there are some other stories we want to tell around this region, so we'll get some good folks on. We're going to try to keep that relationship building with the Breakettes as well, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they continue their season and head on to a few tournaments coming up. Also, their next game coming up on Thursday against the Stratford Seahawks, so if you're into some high-level softball, that'd be a great one to go to.
It is very high-level softball. All right, with all that said and done, that'll do it for Nutmeg Sports. We are back with you tomorrow. I'll be in for Kate for coffee break tomorrow morning as well. And as we head into Wednesday, CT Pulse will take this week off. So no CT Pulse tomorrow. Otherwise, we will have Nutmeg Sports and, of course, coffee break. But for Eric Ginger and Andrew Mitchell, Donald Eng. Thanks for Rob Baird. I'm Rob Adams. Enjoy your afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow on the HAN Network.